Yeah. Okay. Part two of the book. Um, we didn't get the redemption that we wanted, or like the restoration that we wanted. Um, but we got a lot more than we bargained for, because part two had so many things. I was At some point I was angry. At some point I was disappointed. At some point I was proud. Like, there was so much happening in the second part of the book that I had to take time after I read yesterday, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna read and record soon after. I had to take time to allow it to like sink in and yeah, just kill up and cry, because it was so relatable, man. This book is so relatable. I feel like, if you know what, if you're having issues with your mom, or you've had issues with your mom, or even if the relationship is good, there's just so much gems that were in this book that I picked up, that I was like, yo, man, like, okay. So anyway, I'm gonna get into it, because it's kind of gonna be longer than the sorry, it's kind of gonna be longer than the first review, right? The first one was like 30 minutes, because it was just. But this one, now we get to obviously see Hilda's part of the story, but also how mother interacts with their daughter based on how she was raised and everything. So part two starts is obviously after World War One, and they go into California. So if you haven't watched part one, you can always go back and watch it. But I feel like even if you don't watch it, you might get like the meat of the story. You understand. It's not that you didn't miss much. But it's after World War One. You remember they were going to California. Again, Nicholas didn't tell mother, didn't consult mother. He just made the decision, because it's just like, I'm not gonna have my wife take care of me, or I'm not gonna have my wife work. I'm gonna be the provider, and he just makes those decisions. And I think, really, there was also so much between, like, how she related with her husband, that I think was based on how she saw how her mother reacted to her dad, that she was like, I'm not gonna let this happen. So this is the second time that he's making a decision without consulting her, and at this point she's just like, you know what, if this flops, I'm gonna take charge. I'm gonna like lead this family, because clearly you don't know how to do anything. And I was also like, same girl, this man just be doing stuff. Because when they get to California, what happens? The person who called him for the job has moved to another part of the country, so he's not even there. So no job. They now have to make a tent and stay inside a tent. Like, this man took you from your, like, a nice boarding house. You were a successful career woman. Now here you are with 3 kids, living in a tent. And at this point, Hildy was sick. Like, I feel like Hildy just said this. She was prone to sickness, man. And I think she reminded mother so much of her mom, because also from part one, the whole time the mom was sick. We never saw her being okay. The mom was sick. So I think also Hildy reminded mother of her mom, like the sickness part, and the whole wanting to be close to the mom and being weak and being soft. It reminded her of the sister. And these are, in as much as she loved these people, these are not people that she wanted her daughter to take any like characteristics from. Like, she's like, okay, you might be like prayerful like my mom and kind like my mom, but I don't want you to be sick like my mom. I don't want you to be weak like my sister, kind of a thing. And she was just trying to push her so much. So we see how she interacts. I know in the first part I said the brother is him, and that was mother's brother, not the first son. The son is Benny. We have Hildy, we have Chloe, and Benny and Chloe just, they go for what they want. They're strong. They just, she also treats them differently how she treats Hildy, because she gives them more love and more, like, they get the soft side of her, and Hildy is just getting this army commander side of her, right? So they get to California, no job, they have to stay at a tent, right? And the husband is like, okay, since you have the money from when you sold the boarding house, give me the money so I can buy us a house. She's like, I'm not giving you no money until I see what your plan is. Like, I'm not taking my hard-earned money and giving it to you, and you don't have a plan. And I was like, I got that. I understood that, because I was like, not only has this man disrupted your life, like, twice. It's twice now. You are literally in a foreign country with kids, no documents, no nothing. and you're living in a tent and you have no plane because this person just decided to up and take the whole family based on I have a friend who's promised to give me a job, nothing in writing, and now you want my money to buy her. So you wanted to provide, you do the providing. I'm gonna sit back and watch, right? That was me during this part of the story, because I was also like, yeah, that's wild. But again, I am not married, so I wouldn't know if this is how I would think and how I would act when I got married, or it'll be different. I don't know. But I just thought it was wild that he wanted her to now buy the house, and because it's like, you should have put in better measurements to ensure that when you take your family to a foreign country, like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like he wasn't really much of a preparation guy. He just did things, and I kind of understand because also he's like a Christian, and he was just like, I feel like God is leading me there, and it's also something that I struggle with as a Christian, where I want to know where I'm going. Lord, before you take me there, where are you taking me? How are we getting there? How am I going to do there? And sometimes that's not how it works in the kingdom of God, because God is like, my sister, I just said move. And sometimes I don't move because I'm like, how will I fare when I get where you're sending me? Am I going to be okay? So it was a little tricky, because I understood like the part where he was letting God lead. I understood that, and I knew that God will provide regardless. But also there's a part where I was like, but as a man, if you don't have a plan, like what's gonna happen to your wife, to your kids, So I was a little bit all over in this part of the story. But anyway, mother decides, because remember, mother, they cut her off when she was like 12. The dad stopped her from going to school, so she was determined to make sure all her kids go to school. So even if they were living at a tent, she finds a school where they can be registered even with no address, and just like they have documents, but they don't have American citizenship and everything. Registers them to school, and Hildy doesn't want to go to school. Hildy likes her mom, and it's one of those things that she's also the one who notices, because they fought a lot during that time. They fought a lot, like while the other kids were like sleeping soundly, she was awake listening, and she just worried about her mom, she worried about her dad. She had this from the get-go, man. She's this kind girl who doesn't want anything to happen to either one of her parents. And so when the whole thing about school comes, she doesn't like people, she's scared, she's terrified. She knows she's not like her siblings, because there was a time where they went to town and there was like Santa Claus, and he was giving out presents, and people had to walk to Santa Claus to get the presents. The siblings went and she didn't go, and she was honestly content with not even going, because she was that terrified of people. And so the whole idea of school for her was like, I'm gonna be so far away from my mom, and I'm gonna be around people I don't know. I'm not doing that. I'm not interested in doing that. So anyway, they get signed up to school, they go to school, and from the get-go, Benny is everyone's favorite, because also he grew up in a farm, so he's stronger, he's faster, he's clever and everything. And Hildy is shy. She doesn't have the blonde hair that the guys took from the dead. She has the brown hair from her mom. She's skinny. She's just skinny bones. The brother is fit and nice and all of those things. And when she gets to school, she is easily picked on by the teachers, because her class teacher happened to have lost a brother in the war. Her brother had been killed by Germans, and when she realizes that Hildy and like Benny, they're Germans, she doesn't pick on Benny, she picks on Hildy. And every time she gets to school, she's making a stand in front of the class and calling her daddy and like properly bullying her. Like, this part of the story really hurt me. It really did hurt me, because I was like, this is just a child. Like, she's 5. She is literally 5. She knows nothing about war. She knows nothing about like nationalities. And here's a grown woman really making her life miserable just because she has an issue against her nationality. That was wild to me. Like, why would you be a teacher if you'd have like that kind of mentality? But she picks on her, she pinches her, she talks down on her, and she does all these things that I feel like at home he was already experiencing, but not as harsh, because her mom was always like, why don't you fight for yourself? Why are you not like this? Why not like this? And Hildy already had this thing when she was like, I don't think I'm enough. I'm not enough for my mom. I'm not enough for my dad. Even when the dad spoke about the other siblings, he had like, oh, Benny is strong. Oh, Chloe is beautiful. But Hildy was like, oh, Hildy is my Hildy. Like, it was almost like there was nothing people could praise about her. And so I think that's why she also took the abuse from the teacher, because it was like she already, no one likes it or no one like rates it, and so why would the teacher? And when she got home, her dad read from the Bible about how, you know, Jesus said we should be meek and how you should pray for those who persecute you. And so she starts praying for the teacher, she starts praying for the mom, she starts praying for the dad. And I think overall we get to see, obviously, till the end of the story, we get to see that all the things that happened to her pushed her closer to God. And I like that. I really like that. I like that it pushed it, because she had a more deeper relationship with God than her siblings did, because she had no one else but God. But also, I just hated how, because of what the mom was doing, because she wasn't even doing it to be malicious. She just wanted her daughter to be stronger, and like, but the way she treated her daughter, she opened the room for her daughter to be abused. So that happens. She's abused at school, and okay, I have notes just in case you see me looking down. I have notes. I want to make sure I say it in the right order. And during this time, mom is pregnant again. I was also like, mother, girl, you're not serious. This man has no plan for you guys. You guys are living in a tent, and he's trying to get you to buy the house. The kids have to walk to school. They go to school dirty, and like literally, your child is being abused for the same thing, and you're pregnant again. My sister. Like, I don't know if there was no contraceptives back in the day or something. Like, you guys don't have a place to stay. This baby was made outside. You guys, because the kids were in the tent, you guys had to go outside to make this baby. Please, make it make sense. Make it make sense. How are you bringing another baby in this family that is already struggling? I was just like, no, I don't like it. Don't do it. Okay. But anyway, it's another girl. Her name is Rika. And during this time when the baby is born, they work for another woman. So he gets another job to work for another woman. Pretty much the same contract as the one before, where it's like, work and help me take care of my farm, and you guys can just stay here. And when the crops come, we'll share the crops. It was called crop sharing or something like that. We'll share the crops and everything. And they work there, and the woman is so strict. She doesn't want the kids to play around, make noise, do this, do that. That's when it's breaking his back. The place that they're staying in, the woman was like, I don't want to shake on my property. So they had to like build like a makeshift house using like tent flips, and it was just crazy. It's like this man's love for farming was just making him make these decisions that I was just like, how are you in your right senses thinking this is okay? Like, you have small kids, and it's just, back in the day, like, the infections were just doing the things, right? They didn't have like the kind of medication was still evolving at the time, and it's like, why are you doing this, my brother? But anyway, when she starts robbing him again, Marta at this point is like, bro, we're not doing this for this. They stay there for like what, a year or something. She's like, we're not doing this again like the last time, right? And at this time, Chloe goes to school, so she's in the same class as Hildy, and it's just like a lot is happening, right? When they're at school again, as usual, the teacher picks up on Hildy, like she starts pinching in, like everything, and Chloe gets so mad and fights for her sister and hits the teacher. And then that, like, in their, obviously when they realize what they've done, they run away, go beyond the class, and Hildy's like, no, you're not supposed to hit her. I'm praying for her to change her heart. I'm praying for her to forgive. I'm praying for her to heal from the death of her brother, because she doesn't know what she's doing. She's not being mean to me on purpose. She's just hurt. And the teacher heard all this, and it's really like, I think that's when it hit it, like, shame. I've really been so horrible to this child, but through it all, she is praying for me, right? So the teacher eventually goes to the principal, tells the principal, hey, you know what, I'm not okay, I need to heal. I've been doing this to this child, and I just want to take time out and everything. And when they see that the teacher hated, they thought they were going to get into more trouble, so they ran away from the school, and people were looking for them, couldn't find them. And eventually the principal went home, told the parents that, hey, Hildy has been getting bullied by the teacher. Oh my word, sorry, I need to fetch my paper. Okay, so that principal tells the mom, And the mom is like, oh, why didn't, so she turns to the daughter to say, why didn't you tell me? And Hildy was just like, why should I, right? So from the get-go, Hildy just is this perspective of a mom that my mom would never help me, my mom doesn't like me, I irritate her. And so when people abuse her, her mom is not the first person that she runs to, right? But yeah, anyway, after that road thing happens, Martha is fed up with how they're living. She's heard that her daughter's going through this, and she's just like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna buy you a farm. This money, I'm gonna buy a house. You want to farm? I'm gonna buy a farm. But it's gonna be up to you to make sure it keeps running, right? So she does that. She buys the farm for Ugai, but it was obviously not gonna start making money then and there. So mother gets a job. He doesn't like it again. I'm at this point, I'm like, Nicholas Yinde or Ifuna and Kosiam, she's given you the farm so that you farm. You make the money. But you won't make the money immediately. So she's just supposed to sit and fold her hands while she waits for the money. You guys have 4 kids now. So she goes to work. Also, this other couple that own a bakery, and all is going on for a while. She still had that on Hildy. She makes her do more chores. She just pushes her harder than she pushes the other siblings. At this point, she's around 7. She can see that, man, I'm being treated differently than all 3 of my siblings, right? But she has this 7 heart, because when her father reads the Bible, she's just actually listening, and Jesus is like, save those who persecute you, save them. And so she has this 7 heart from the get-go. The other kids are rebellious, they throw tantrums, they answer back, and everything her mom says, she's like, cool, done, okay. She doesn't fight, and that pisses her mom off, because her mom is trying to get her to a point where she fights back, where she's like, I don't want to do this, or don't make me do this. But she, on the other end, is like, because I want approval from my mom, whatever she says, I'm gonna do. So there's 2 people not communicating clearly what they wanted. The mom had an expectation to say, when I push her, she's gonna snap. Hildy was on the assumption that when I keep doing what this woman wants me to do, she'll eventually love me. So both of them were not gonna get what they wanted, because both of them were on different sides of the same coin, right? Anyway, like I said, Hildy feels like out of all the siblings, she feels like she's not attractive, because they all took after their dad and how her mom was treating them. She was like, oh, they're attractive, oh, they're brilliant, oh, they're clever, oh, they're this. I'm not any of those things. And so she already grows with this, where what will I amount to mentality. And even in as though as mother was just like trying to push her, she loves her. I promise you, there were parts where, because in the story, in Hilda's POV, there was letters that mother was sending to her friend, and she's like, oh no, I'm just trying to push my, so she was doing it out of love. It was genuinely not out of malice, but how Hildy perceived it. And I was also at some point like, yeah, girl, I don't think this is working, and I feel like you should see that it's not working and try to fix this relationship. But she never did. Martha was as stubborn as they came, and this time they're fighting a lot with Nicholas. Like, they're fighting a lot. Like, it was also, I was just like, okay, this is, a little traumatic, even for me who was reading, because I'm like, why are you guys fighting so much? Okay. But anyway, like I said, mother gets a job and they buy the farm, and usually, like, it's generally that's where the mom and the sister died. So the mom died, the sister committed suicide and everything. But that's also Hildy's birthday. So every other time when it's the other kid's birthday, the mom goes all out. January, she's depressed and sad and moping and grieving. She forgets birthday Hildy all the time, and it's always the dad who remembers and tries to. So Hildy is just picking up on those things that are happening and thinking, I'm clearly not wanted. I'm clearly, like, literally, I don't have a place in this family. And that also was like, to me, I get the whole depressed and everything, but your child's birthday, maybe you don't know when you give birth to your child. There's other things that I was pardoning, because I was like, okay, I get it. But there's other things where I was also like, no, man, mother, kill, like, do better, okay, do better. But anyway, what happened after that? Okay, so the bakery is bent down. During this time, the World War II has started, but there's still so much, what can I say? there's still so much tension from World War One. There's still people who don't like Nicholas because he's German, even though he was not part of whatever. So the guys who own the bakery also like, I think were they from German or something, and they burnt the bakery. So mother loses the job. And when the family decides, okay, they're gonna relocate because they don't feel safe in the area, mother's like, oh, it's cool, you can bring your son, seeing it as summer, go and settle things first, and then you can come fetch him. We'll stay with him. Does she consult the husband? No, she doesn't consult the husband. And when she doesn't consult the husband, she tells the husband during dinner to say, hey, by the way, I took my boss's son to come and spend summer with us because the parents are going to set up at a new place and everything. I didn't want to burden them. And so obviously the dad is like, no, but you didn't talk to me about this. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm telling you now. He's gonna share bedroom with Benny, and Benny's like, oh, but no, you didn't also consult me. It's my bedroom. You can't just bring people into my bedroom. And mother's like, well, this is my house, so I do what I want. And literally, how she said it made Nicholas hurt, and because Benny also is like, well, it's also Dad's house, and it was just one of those awkward, I wear the pins in the house because I have the money kind of a thing. I was like, maybe this is why Nicholas didn't want you to have the money or to be the one who was financing a lot of those things, because he knew this is how you would act. Because she was just making decisions, just doing things that she didn't discuss with the husband first. And her thing was, well, it's my money, I get to manage it or whatever. So after she said that, Nicholas is hurt because that was a weird thing to say, especially to her husband and everything. And for the first time in forever, Hilti is like, you know what, that was mean. So she tells to the mom and says, that was mean. Why are you always mean to Dad? She's literally just asking, and mother just slaps her. That was the first time. The first time she hit a child, this is the first child she has hit. She's never hit any of her kids. She slaps mother. She slaps Hilti. And in the moment, in the shock, Hilti just apologizes. And instead of mother apologizing, because she's wrong, the child is right. She's calling you out because why are you being mean to the dad in front of the kids? It's Hildi who apologizes, and then mother is just like, I want you to do A, B, C, D, clear up, wash the dishes. No one is going to help you. And in that moment, she realized she was being like her dad. Mother, she realized, I'm literally being like my dad. I'm treating this child how my dad treats me. But does she change? No. Does she change? No. She keeps going at it. And I'm just like, this is the part where you realize you're doing something wrong and you change it, not the part where you just leave it be, right? Anyway, she feels bad, but she doesn't apologize. But that's also some of the things that Hildi is just stocking up also in her own little bank of memory, that this woman hates me because she's never hit anyone else. I'm the one, right? She always says I should stand up for myself. I do it, she hates me. Like, what does this woman want? And so anyway, where are we? Okay, so that happened, and then after that, the next thing that happened also that really just reveals the cracks in their relationship during the whole thing, because after they taken, the guy was called Fritz, the boy Fritz, for the summer. He went back to, the parents were settled and everything. When he got there, he made friends, and he would tell the friends, oh, I used to stay at a farm and do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the other parents were like, oh, we also want to take our kids there so they can have the experiences. And so that's how Mata opens almost like a summer camp thing. Just the way kids are brought there, she gives them chores, she teaches them about farm life, and she makes money out of it, right? Because obviously she doesn't have a job, and this is how mother stayed wanting to make money. She wasn't trying to let the men take care of it. Not after the men failed her twice, no, 3 times. She was like, I'm gonna take care of myself, right? I'm gonna do it my way. And so she starts that thing, and one afternoon they all go to like them or whatever. The boys are swimming. Hildi wants to be taught how to swim. Remember, Hildi takes time to learn things. She's scared. She talks herself out of things. The boys refuse to teach her, and she tries it on her own, like just by walking and then trying to do what they used to do. And while she's still doing it, a man speaks to her, and the man is like, "Oh, you're gonna drown." And you know, she from the get-go she picks up that no, this man is he's giving creepy, and she's not trying to get close to him. And it's like, "No, let me help you out because you're gonna drown." But something is just screaming, "Don't even go close to this man." So she's trying to go to the other side of the dam or river so that she's far from the man. But the man gets into the water and tries to grab her, and she fights like this tiny little girl fights a grown man, or grown man, sorry, a grown man, and she actually gets out of the other side of the river, but she's lost her top in the process, and she just runs home. She's so terrified. She runs home. She gets home. Her mom is there. She doesn't even tell him. Like, this is something you want to tell your mom. I know when something like that happened to me, the first person I called was my mom. I was like, someone just tried to do something to me. Okay, she doesn't even think that. She goes straight to the room, gets under the blankets, and just starts crying. So obviously the mom saw, one, you came here running, two, you don't have your top, and three, you sobbing, like what's going on. So she kind of like has to be stern and force it out of her, but eventually Hildy tells her. And Martha is like, someone did what? Because this also triggers, remember his sister was also violated sexually, so I think it all triggers her. She grabs a knife and starts quickly running to, you know, to the lake river dam thing. And it's when it's when she leaves that you get this bell that they used to ring when they want to call their dead. She rings it, the dead comes, the dead is like, "What's up?" She's just like, "Follow mom, she's gonna kill him or she's gonna get herself killed, and I'm scared." And so the dead goes, and the guy had managed to escape and everything. So they come back, but there's just, everyone can tell something happened. Everyone can tell that, you know, this person, this new guy in town did something. And so Benny and a couple of the summer boys, they go and burn down his house. And so no, the guy escapes, the house is burnt down, so he can't even return to it, and that's how the story ends, right? But it left a mark on Hildy, and I think it left a mark on Martha as well, because she realized her daughter doesn't trust her. But even as she's realizing this, sometimes for someone who was so intelligent, she was acting dense to me, because I'm like, you can see how this harsh approach to parenting is affecting you and your daughter. Can you change? Can you do better? And this woman just kept doing the same thing over and over again. So anyway, Benny, at this point in the story, Benny already knows he wants to be a farmer. It was there's this thing that he did, like grafting, and like you can graft other fruits into another fruits tree, like, so then you can have a tree that is different kinds of apples or oranges and lemons, or I remember that there was a name for it, but that's what Benny wants to do. So he's learning all about farming because he wants to own his nursery where he's gonna have all these fruit trees. Chloe has already started learning sewing from the mom, and the mom is gotten her like sewing kits and threads and everything, and she started sewing clothes for the family, so she knows she wants to be a fashion designer. Rika, the baby of the family, from the get-go, she could paint. By the age of 3, she could paint, like draw and paint properly, so she's going to be the artist of the family. What is Hildy going to be? She doesn't know. She just knows she wants to be around her mom and her siblings. But there's a time she got sick for 2 months. She had some chest infection, and during this time, how this one next treated it is what sparks it to be like, oh, I actually want to be a nurse. I like taking care of people, because she was taking care of the house, of the family. She did all the chores. She took care of all the siblings, and every time she would complain to her mom to say, oh, but why are the other guys not getting chores? And mom would be like, because they know what they want in their lives, you don't. So you've clearly chosen to be a servant, you're gonna be a servant. So she was like, hey, I'm already a servant at home. I wouldn't mind being a servant and helping people and doing what I love. So she decides she's going to go to nursing school, and that pisses her mom off. Like, it pisses her mom off, because the mom is like, oh, you like serving people, you like being beneath people and everything. And her mom mocks her for it. And her mom is like, I'm not going to pay for you. So they pay for Benny to go to college. They pay for Chloe to go to designing school, whatever, and they pay for Rika to go to an art school, but the mom is like, we're not going to pay for you, you're going to have to work. He would just like, bet. She gets a job. She goes to work and she saves up money. Her mom is like, if you want me to pay for you, I can only take you to university. Because again, the mom was trying to live her life through Uhudi. And he was like, you want to go to university. I don't. I want to go to nursing school. You don't have to pay for me. You made it clear that you're never going to take care of me. I'll take care of me. But this whole university thing, that's your dream. That is not my dream. Don't make it my dream. Okay? Like, please, girl, leave me alone. Right? And she sets up the money. She works 2 jobs while also studying. While she really puts in like her big into it, and she does go to nursing school, right? And when she graduates, Chloe makes a dress for her because she wasn't even gonna ask her mom for, literally, she never asked her mom for anything. Chloe makes the dress. She goes off to school, and when she gets there, she's like the hardest working girl ever. Because again, like mother's mom had said, sometimes when things are happening in your life, it's really just God aligning you to where He wants to take you. All the things that when you read in the story, you look and thinking your mother was just abusing the child, these are the things that made Hilda stand out. Because she was used to doing chores, waking up early, taking care of people, taking care of the whole family. When she got to nursing school, she was literally the top student. Like, all the nurses liked her. All the nurses wanted her in their departments. All the nurses that are raving reviews for Uhildi because of the things that her mom did to her, that on the like face or surface level, it looks like, oh Shem, she's abusive. But these are the things that really set Uhildi apart. And I think that was also something I took, because I was like, you know what, in life, even if you look back to some of the things that you feel like, oh, my mom was a little harsh on this, look at your life now and look at the things that you used to hate, or the things that used to cause like this conflict or this bitterness towards her, and you will realize that those things are some of the things that are setting you apart now. These are the things that other people don't have and you have, that give you an advantage, but at the time it looked like it was abuse. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, oh, because now we can look at Martha and be like, terrible mom. I mean, kinda bad. Also, good job. Kudos to you, because a lot of other nurses dropped out. And she finishes her probation, because she had to do a 6 months training. She finishes her probation. They're happy with her. And when she graduates top of the class. She's the one who's leading the other nurses to the stage. She already, from the probation, they were like, when you graduate, you have a job here. You know, we're not letting you go. And it's because of the resilience that she learned, the meekness that she learned at home, from having to pray for her mom, pray for her teachers, from she knows how to save people because she's been saving people her entire life. I was just like, damn, I want your heart, Hildy. I want your heart. Because, hey, sometimes it's kind of hard to keep putting people first when you feel like people are just walking all over you. But ultimately, at the end, it worked in her favor. God really worked everything out in her favor. And when she's there, she met a guy. This guy was into Hildy. He was straight up into our girl. But our girl, again, like Martha, believed she's not pretty, like she wouldn't have anything to offer him, like she's boring. She was just like, bro, I'm just this Christian girl that stays praying, because she used to pray for the patients, pray for the nurses. That praying at home when she was angry that her dad taught her, she carried her to school, and she stayed praying. And she's just like, I'm boring, I have nothing to offer you. And the guy's like, that's exactly why I want you. I asked around and they said, do you pray? I'm looking for a prayerful woman. And she's giving him a hard time, turning him down, because he's just like, I don't have anything to offer this guy. And this guy put his back into it. He even got his pastor to write him in like a recommendation letter to say, hey, if you date this guy, he's a good guy. Like, I'm his pastor, I know he's a good guy. And eventually they start dating, and it's all going on for a girl. I'm like, yes, finally there's the light at the end of the tunnel, it's all good. She gets a letter from her mother. her dad has cancer. And I'm just like, oh my word, can't our girl catch a break? Can't she have this one thing that's just hers, where she's just like enjoying? And immediately, in true Hilda style, servant heart, she's like, I'm gonna go home. But also, she doesn't know how long she's gonna be gone, because again, it's cancer. And back in the day, I think there was just so much happening there by Cancerville. She doesn't know how long she's gonna stay there, and she knows, like, she in her mind, she's like, this guy is too handsome to wait for me. I probably even bored him to death now. So the guy, so Trip is like, okay, I'm gonna take you home. She's just like, no, you can't, because she hadn't told the parents it. She had never told anyone. Only the people at school knew she was dating him. And when Trip realizes that she's never told anyone about them, he is hurt, right? Because he feels like, oh, sure, she doesn't like me, or she doesn't love me. But the whole time our girl was being in love. She was in love while he was still pursuing her. She just doesn't believe she deserves it. She just doesn't believe that she's good enough to be loved, right? So also, Trip couldn't see it in the moment, but he's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna let you go. So she goes, she takes care of the dead, and during this time, her mom, because of grief, they biting it a lot, but she's still being kind to the mom, being gentle with the mom, praying for the mom, praying for the dead. Eventually, the dead dies. And when the dead dies, she decides, I'm gonna just stay behind and take care of my mom, right? And it goes on for 2 months. Oh, by the way, Trip did come to the funeral, to her father's funeral, and she didn't even introduce him properly to the family. Then she didn't even take time to spend time with him and stuff. Our girl was also just getting on my nerves, because I'm like, this man has been showing you he loves you. Girl, can you just love this guy back? And can you stop the drama? It's enough now. Like, I get it. Low self-esteem, but come on now. So for 2 months, she's taking care of her mom, the house, and everything. And her mom is enjoying it, until at some point she realizes, hey, this one is doing what I did when my mom died, just wasting away her life. So this one day, while she's making this like nice blanket, the mom is like, I need you to get out of my house. Your dad is gone. You took care of him. Thank you. Go back. And she's like, back to what? Back to, like, what do you mean? Her mom is like, I don't care, bro. I don't care where you go. I just want you out of my house. She was harsh about it, but that's also, at some point, that is the only way Hildy would actually get that fire end. It was only when her mom was harsh that she wanted to prove her mom wrong. When her mom was soft, it's almost like I don't know, man. The dynamics at this point is just like, I hate that your mom speaks to you like this. I hate that your mom treats you like this. But also, it gets the desired result. So I was also like, I mean, kudos mother, but also, shame, man. Couldn't you put it nicely? Couldn't you phrase it nicely? But after the mom sends a picking, she goes back. And she doesn't even reach out to Trip, because she just thinks, this man has moved on. The way I treated him, wada. And finally, one of her friends, Boots, tells Trip like, hey, she's back. She's just avoiding you. Trip is like, not on my watch. So he goes there at her workplace, and he's like, my sister, I need you to marry me. And she's like, sure, I'll marry you. And so he buys a ring, and they're planning a wedding. And what happens? She gets sick. I was just like, Hildy, what is going on, my sister? You can't catch a break. We literally just got our man back. Now we're trying to get married. You fall sick. She got TB, and she was sick for 8 months. And she was there to isolate her. So, like, how she made people, it was giving corona, but back in the day. And again, when Martha hears this, she's like, oh, you want to die? She's like, Mom, it's TB. You usually let people die. Well, the mom is like, you just want to die. If you want to die, sure, go ahead, bro. Like, would you want us to beg you to stay alive? No, die if you want to die. And that angers Hilda so much. When the daughter came to check on her that night, she's like, you're looking good. You have color on your body. You're looking fired up. Because literally the mom came and like, if you want to die, die. So the mom knew, she had found the formula to like, okay, when I want to get this one to do something, I need to piss her off. I need to call her a coward. I need to like talk down on her. And I was like, I mean, we're getting the desired result, but that is wild and a little mean, man. Don't be like that. Don't be that girl. So anyway, She gets better. 3 weeks later, they get married, and after they get married, 3 weeks after that, Trip signs up to go join the army, because again, this is now World War II. World War II has rolled around. When Trip signs up, she goes around with them until he's signed to go overseas, and that's when Trip is like, bruh, you gotta stay behind. And she also wanted to join, and Trip was like, no, you can't join, I don't want you to join. And she's like, you joined and didn't tell me. You just roped up and said, hey, by the way, I joined, I'm also gonna join. So what Trip does is, like, during those 3 weeks, he focuses on getting her pregnant, because then that will stop her from joining and being like an army nurse. And that actually does work. She does get pregnant, and she moves back home, only to realize that her mom is like she has hired a couple. The mom is staying in the cottage that Benny and Elizabeth, because Benny got married to her best friend Elizabeth, lived in, and Benny and Elizabeth moved opposite. It was a farm owned by Japanese, and remember this, during this time America and the Japanese were like, and so every person who was Japanese during that time, they put them at some camp somewhere, because they were like, we don't know if she's spies or anything. And so Benny and Elizabeth are like, we just want to keep this farm running so that Benny gets the experience that he needs to run his own farm. And so that is where Yudi moves in. They stay together. She gives birth, and even when she's giving birth, she doesn't cry, she doesn't do a lot. She's a nurse, she knows what's happening, she's prepared, she has like a swift delivery. And it is only when the child, because the son was Charles who? Charles something. It was when Charles was 2 that Trip comes back. At this time, she went to meet him. He was gonna be by his parents' house, so she went there with Charles. They got there, and she thought he was back, but turns out they still needed him for, like, even though the war had ended, but there was still like people who needed like medical attention. So he stays for a while and he leaves, and he comes back after a couple of months. When he comes back after a couple of months, she's married to a different man at this point. He's been scarred by the war. Even when they're sleeping together, he's just, she told the pastor, like, hey, it looks like he's trying to drive up demons or something. He's just snappy, can't sleep, though. So it's a little toxic in the family. And unlike before, where she just took abuse, this time she was like, no. So she went, told the pastor came and talked to Trip, and that was exactly what Trip needed, because even pastors were being taken to these war sites apparently, so that when people are dying and they want to give their lives to Christ, there's someone to do it. So some of the things that Trip saw and experienced, the pastor also saw, so they had that thing in common, and they started praying and counseling and all of those things. And it's during the space that they get pregnant, and they get another child, a girl, and they call her Carol, right? Literally, while Carol is 2 months, she gets TB again. I'm just like, you are not catching a break, my girl. Like, you are not catching a break. You meet the man of your dreams, your father dies. You guys get back together after months, and just a couple of weeks to your wedding, you get TB. Sharp. 8 months up and down. You are even thinking, okay, let me just break up with this man because I'm not gonna like make it. But you make it, get married, he goes to war. You stay behind, raise the baby, he comes back, he is messed up, right? You finally get him to a point where it's okay, and you guys can be a family, you have another child, you get to be again. I was like, what did you anger? My sister, that's a lot. But at this time, she's also just giving up. She's like, she knows that when you get it for a lot of times, you might not survive it, you might not be okay. So she's just thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna die. And Trip is like, I'm just gonna call your mom, because I'm not taking care of 2 kids and working and taking care of you, right? So now Hildy has to swallow the pride, and for the first time in her life, ask her mom for help. And she does. They ask mother for help. And during this time, after the death of her husband, that's the period where God is refining and restoring and really working in mother's heart. So this is the period of time where she's forgiven the dead. She's actually realizing her mistakes and realizing, oh, I was wrong to treat my child like this. So she's on that healing journey. And when this call comes to say, hey, you know what, we need you to come help us, it's looking bad, we don't think she'll make it, we just need you to come help and stuff. She's like, Lord, keep her until I can fix our relationship. Like, keep her until me and her work things out. I want her to understand me. I want her to understand I was not being mean. I want her to understand I don't hate her. I actually love her. She's my greatest pride. The other kids just flew off the nest. I had to shove her a little bit, but she's my greatest pride. And I think also at this time she's made peace with the fact that there's things that some of the things that she hated that her dad did, she had inherited and she did to her daughter, and she was just like, I need to be able to apologize. I want to mend the relationship. So she sends over the farm so that the new couple runs it while she prepares to go help her daughter and mend her relationship with her daughter. And that's how it ends. I know they said there's another book, Her Mother's Dream, I think, which I don't have. I didn't know this is how it was gonna end. I thought it was gonna end with them with their issues sorted and everything, but yeah, that's how it ends. In as much as I haven't read in this book, but I just love the fact that even as mother is going there, she has I was wrong, I need to fix this relationship with my daughter, and if she does die, I want it to be from a place where she has healed and she is okay and we both okay. And also this, after the whole story ends, there's a part or a couple of pages where Francine Rivers tells us why she wrote the story. It was inspired by her grandmother and her mom, how the little situations that were there between them, and how she wishes or hopes they could have solved issues or how they could have dealt with issues. And so most of the things, like some parts of the story, some of the places, it's true to her. It's her family story. She just added fiction in there to make it make sense. But from where it ended, I'm just glad that mother realized, she was able to realize that she was wrong. She treated her daughter badly and she wanted to fix that. And I think the greatest component in all of this is, or the greatest takeaway is, we won't be able to mend relationships, whether with our daughters, mothers, fathers, sons, friends, husbands, wives, with anyone really, friends, whatever. We cannot do it without Jesus Christ, because it was only when mother stopped fighting and started trusting and believing and just surrendering her life to Christ that he started revealing to her some of the things that, even though she thought, I'm justified in doing this, she realized I shouldn't have done it. Even though she was like, oh, my dad did this to me, she realized she should have forgiven him and just worked things out, because she was angry for so long for what? And that anger, she was now spilling it onto her kids. And I think the greatest takeaway for me will be that ultimately, for us to live in this world and really like function in this world, we really do need Jesus Christ. We need to be able to forgive. We need, like, some of the things that they fought about, as the reader, I was like, guys, this is so stupid. Like, I promise you guys, if you sat down and listened and if you spoke properly, you guys will solve it. But that's how it is with a lot of misunderstandings. There's certain things that is like, I promise you now, if you guys wanted to sort this thing out, you would sort it out. You just have to listen. But there's a transformation that is to come, because Martha also had wounds that she didn't deal with from her dad, from her mom, from her sister's death, that she then she used those wounds to parent, like to shape how she parents, and she ended up inflicting wounds on her kids, or maybe Hildy specifically. Whereas had she forgiven and worked through those issues, I feel like she could have parented from a better place, from a place of healing, and they wouldn't have had to go through what they went through. But I'm just glad that the story ends with her wanting to fix that relationship and not her being stubborn and thinking it is what it is, right? And so if you're watching this and you're a mom and you're not sure where you stand with your kids, ask the Lord, let him show you areas where you could have done better, and then ask for forgiveness. Mend relationships. literally tomorrow is no promise to anyone. That's how short life is. And I really wish everyone gets to that point where they heal. And if you're a daughter and you feel like, hey, it's a little strained with my mom, promise you reach out. I promise you, just reach out and let God do the work. Let God heal and restore, because we're not here long enough for us to go on angry with each other and just mad at each other and just with these misconceptions about each other, because really we are all here for the first time, bro. No one has been here before. We're all winging it. And for others, we have Jesus Christ, the Bible, the Holy Spirit to guide us. And for others, they don't have that. Our parents don't have that. They haven't had it. And so we can extend grace in understanding that because they didn't know better, they didn't do better. But that doesn't make them bad parents or bad people. It just means we need to extend the olive branch, extend grace, and work it out. And just, and let God restore. Because we're going to be angry until when? We're going to be pissed until when? No one is here long enough for us to carry that kind of energy. So that would be my takeaway from this book. It was a gut-wrenching book and thought-provoking book, okay? And it was just, there were some parts where I had to check my heart as well. I was reading and saying, yeah, you know what, mother, it's good, you can do that. But then I was like, Lord, I'm gonna get married. Is this the man I should carry into my marriage? Because why am I feeling like she's justified doing that, you know? So there's certain things, even when she did things to the kids, where I was like, I mean, I get it, but also I was like, Lord, is there something in my heart or wounds in my life that are making me look at this thing and think it's okay and it's not, you know? It really brought me to, or it really revealed things to me where I was like, I had to check myself as well. Because if I was like, yeah, I agree, that totally makes sense, treat your husband like that, I was also like, would I treat my husband like that? Would that be okay if I did that? There's certain parts where I was like, yeah, no, don't do that to him. But there's other things where I was like, this man getting on my nerve, yes, girl, do it. And I was like, Lord, is there something in me that I should surrender to you right now, so you can work out before you walk this man into my life and I start treating him somehow? And there were things where I was like, oh, guilty is justified. But I was like, Lord, is there something in me that I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing to my mom or my dad or anyone? Or why do I feel this way? Is this a good way to feel as a child of God? Is it okay to harbor these thoughts? So it really did bring me to a point where I had to examine my heart, even as I was reading, and just surrender certain things to God and be like, that doesn't sound right. I shouldn't think like that. So overall, 10 out of 10. Okay, 9, because the one would be, I didn't know there was going to be a continuation from this one. So now I'm like, where am I going to get it? Where am I going to get it? I'm just going to have this half story in my mind? No, man. So I hope I get it so I can come back and tell you guys how it ends. I really also want to know how it ends. But that's it from me and Francine Rivers in her mother's hope. Thank you for listening and watching for so long. I'm a Yepa. I'm a certified Yepa, and I'm so sorry that I get to do this to you guys, but it is what it is, right? So thank you for tuning in. If you've watched until this far, thank you so much. Please do like, do share, do subscribe, and do the things. And I hope you guys fix your relationship with your people and allow Jesus to help you, because Jesus loves you and he wants only the best for you. And yeah, bye.